Hello students, welcome to my channel Absolute Classes of English. Please like and share my video and subscribe my channel. And don't forget to press the bell icon. In my previous video, I have discussed about main points from 1st to 7, main points of the last lesson from 1 to 7. If you have missed that previous video, please go to the I button and watch the previous video. Okay. Today we are going to study and explain next main points from 8 to 13 of the lesson, the last lesson by Alphonse Daudet. Main point number 8, appreciation of French language. M. Hamil was addressing to the class, as you know. So while addressing to the class, he started appreciating his mother tongue, French language. He started appreciating that it was the most logical, most beautiful and the precise language, the most beautiful, most logical language of the world. He also made an appeal to the people. He made an appeal that they should never forget it, because language is like a key to prison. Like a key to prison means when the people of any country are enslaved, they can hold it as fast as a key. They can hold it as fast as a key means then they are made enslaved by any victor country. If they don't forget their culture, if they don't forget their language, they can never be mentally slave. The people who forget their culture, people who forget their language, they actually become mentally slave to the victor country. And when the people of a slave country, they remember their language, they remember their culture, they cannot be made mentally slave by the victor country. That's why he made such an appeal. So this is also an example of this appreciation of French language, is also an example of language chauvinism. Language chauvinism is actually the theme of this story, which I have discussed in my previous video. So you will have to go to my previous video to know the meaning of language chauvinism. So it was an example of language chauvinism. Language chauvinism means there was an aggressive love and aggressive support for one's language. So he was supporting his French language and was making an appeal to the people that they should never forget it. They should always hold it as fast as a key to prison. They can come out from this state of slavery in future if they remember their language. The teacher meaning to say. Number 9. Will they make them sing in German? Even the pigeons. This is a very important line from examination point of view. This statement actually occurred in the mind of French, the little student studying in nursery class. When some writing task was given by the teacher, there was pin drop silence. There was pin drop silence in the class, and everyone was busy in doing their work assigned by the teacher. So at that time there were some pigeons in the classroom which were cooing. So listening to this cooing of the pigeons, the teacher, M. Hamil started thinking that whether these Prussian soldiers, they refer to Prussian soldiers, or them means French people. So whether these Prussian soldiers can make the French speaking people of Alsace-Lorraine sing in German, pigeons can never be made slave. Pigeons will always keep on singing in their own way. Pigeons will always keep on cooing in their own way. They cannot be forced. Though the order from Berlin has been imposed upon the human beings, the law was imposed upon the French-speaking people of Alsace and Lorraine, but this law, this order from Berlin cannot force the pigeons to change their way of cooing, to change their way of singing. So this way, French was thinking in his mind whether these Prussian soldiers will also change the way of singing of these pigeons. So the answer is no, absolutely no. They cannot change the way of cooing of the pigeons. So it means that language is as natural as singing to the birds. A person feel very much comfortable to speak in one's language. Similarly, French-speaking people of Alsace and Lorraine were feeling very much comfortable to speak in their language. But now, because of this order from Berlin, German language was imposed upon them. So that's why it was very unnatural. It was as unnatural, just like imposing some different way of singing for the birds. The birds will always keep on singing their own way. It cannot be changed. Similarly, a person's way of speaking in mother's tongue cannot be changed. So it is quite unnatural and illogical and irrational in every way. So that's why he was thinking this. French was thinking this statement in his mind. Number 10. Teachers' helplessness. when the whole class was busy, each and everyone was busy in completing their homework, writing about the task given by the teacher, there was a pin drop silence. At that time, teacher was sitting in a chair. So at the time of sitting, he was looking very grave, he was looking very serious, he was looking at each and everything in the classroom in such a way as if he wanted to capture a photo, as if he wanted to capture an image of everything in his mind, so that he could preserve it as a memory in his mind. So he was also listening to the sound of packing the luggage by his sister upstairs. So everything in this school was planted and established and installed by this teacher during his last 40-year services. So it was very painful for the teacher to leave all those things behind all of a sudden. So this was teacher's helplessness after the order from Berlin, and he couldn't do anything in this matter. So that's why this helplessness was reflected on his face as noticed by the little French. Number 11. Emotional atmosphere of the class. In previous main points, I have told you that there were some senior citizens and villagers seated on the last benches, which generally remained empty. Some of them had carried with them primer. Primer is the book of nursery class in which alphabets and some rhymes and poems are written. These books are called primers. So these primers were carried by some villagers and some senior citizens. So after opening these primers, they started reciting some poems, they started reciting something from those books, some alphabets they started reciting like the children. So they were actually paying their respect to their mother tongue in that way. So it was very emotional to see those senior citizens reading from the books of alphabet and reciting the poems. So the classroom atmosphere, they started also crying. They also started crying and they started shedding tears because their mother tongue was going to be abolished now. There will be no more teaching. There will be no more learning in French language. That's why they became emotional while reading those alphabets of French language and reciting poems of French language. So classroom atmosphere became emotional at that time. Everyone became emotional seeing those senior citizens reciting poems and alphabets from the primers. Number 12. Teacher being emotional. Teacher also became emotional. Teacher became emotional. M. Hamill is the name of the teacher. M. Hamill also became emotional when he listened to the voice of the trumpets. Trumpets blown by Prussian soldiers, because the church clock has struck 12. And according to the order of Berlin, at the time of 12, when the church clock would struck 12, he would be resigned. He would have to leave the school, and order of Berlin would come into effect. At 12 o'clock, order of Berlin would come into effect, and now it was the time to leave his school and go away from there. So that's why he became emotional that it was 12 o'clock now, and he will have to leave each and everything behind now. So he became emotional. He wanted to speak something more. He wanted to speak something more to the class, but he became so much emotional that the words choked in his throat. He became so much emotional. So due to emotions, he felt choking in his throat and words could not come out of his mouth. He became so much emotional. So he wrote those words on the blackboard. He wrote those words on the blackboard. Those words actually were a patriotic appeal or a reflection of patriotism in his heart. In next point 13, patriotic appeal by the teacher. The patriotic appeal by the teacher wrote these words on the blackboard. Vive la France. These are the French words. Vive la France, which means in English, long live France. Long live France were the words written by M. Hamill on the blackboard, which he actually wanted to speak, which he actually wanted to utter. But because of emotions, his throat choked and he could not utter these words. So he wrote those words on the blackboard. So by writing these words, he wanted to make an appeal to the class that they should always remain patriotic. They should never forget. They should never forget their country. They should never forget their mother tongue. Okay, students. So that's enough. Now we have studied all the complete. Okay, students. That's enough for today. And if you want complete notes in PDF format, go to the description box and you can get complete notes from there. So okay. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.